So 2024 was awful. It was. But I learned some amazing lessons and I'm going to talk about them. So for those of you that are new here, my name is Leanne. I'm a metalsmith with a business called Leanne Allison Designs, where I design and create sustainable jewellery for eco-conscious souls. Now, as I said, 2024, it was poo. It was absolute poo. I suffer from headaches and last year they just seemed to explode. This had a flow-on effect into my business, which then had a flow-on effect into my personal life. It affected me financially. But I did learn some lessons and I'm actually really excited about looking at 2025 through a different lens. So the biggest lesson I learned was to embrace my limitations. Now you might be thinking, why? Why would I embrace my limitations, Leanne? I do talk about this a little bit in another video that I have released. It talks about how I work around my headaches in my business. So if you're interested in that, I will pop a link in the description. But basically what I mean by embracing my limitations is that I acknowledged them, I understood them. And then by knowing what those limitations were, I was able to work around them and it made a huge difference. So basically I threw my arms open and I said, come on in, limitations, let me know who you are, let me know what's going on. And then I was able to find some strengths that I didn't even know I had. I was able to just look at things in a different way. I was able to work in a different way and adapt, and it made a huge difference. Without knowing what those limitations were, I wouldn't have found some of those other strengths. And, by limitations, I mean just the way I worked and the times I worked and all of that sort of thing. These headaches were just debilitating. So it was about looking at ways that I could still get things done in my business while sort of being kind to myself and allowing myself to heal. So embracing those limitations, I did learn so much from that, and I can go forward in my business in albeit a different way, but I am much better at working out how to adapt now. I can look at things differently, which is a huge advantage. Another thing I learned was that I still get mindset wobbles. 2024 was one of those years where there was that kind of there were financial issues sort of hanging around in the background, and cost of living pressures in Australia were quite high. There was a lot of talk about it. And I think part of the issue was with those mindset wobbles is that I heard it a lot. I heard a lot about people aren't buying, people aren't doing this, people aren't doing that. And I just felt, okay, I'm selling jewellery. People don't want what I've got at the moment. I have a want product, not a need product. And I convinced myself that no one was buying. And I let that negative mindset creep in. I let that scarcity mindset creep in. And it wasn't good. I tend to believe that we get caught up in our own little circle. So we think everyone's struggling because maybe the people we know are struggling, or we've heard so many times that people are struggling. And we think that people won't pay over a certain amount for something because the people around us won't. Or, there may be something that I won't pay a certain price for. So I think that everybody is the same as me. And we think that what we see is the truth for everyone. And, but in reality, there's this big wide world out there and there's lots of people at different price points. So I needed to look for evidence outside of my own bubble. And I needed to remember that the people that I surround myself with are not always the people that I'm selling to. So it was about guiding myself through those mindset wobbles and kind of coaching myself to overcome them, which it seems to have worked. I feel a lot better about things now than I did before. Another thing that I learned is that I still have a lot of fear. There was fear about this new collection. There was fear about getting it out there, doing something different. Was I straying too far, and all of those sorts of things. There was fear around my pricing. Was I getting it right? Was I doing the right thing? At one point, I had to pretty much close my business down or sort of put it into holiday mode because I was so unwell. And then I had this fear that when I came back, no one would remember me, even though I was only going to be gone for a short period of time. When I was sick and my headaches were really bad, they're actually not too bad at the moment, but I had a couple of patches where they were really bad. I had this fear that when I came back, if I started to do things, they would start up again and I would lose everything. So I had to work through that fear. Thankfully, I did a creativity coaching course a few years ago, and it was about learning to be a creativity coach. I did it for myself. I did it so that I could work through things myself, but also to help some of my creative friends if they were having blocks. But we learned a bit about fear, and I just found it really valuable to sort of go through some exercises with myself to sort of get over that fear. Fear can be good because it does push you outside of your comfort zone. But this was fear that was almost, I wasn't doing anything. I was so fearful that things would go wrong that I became overwhelmed and I didn't want to do things. Once I broke through that fear, I felt quite different. I knew that I was capable, and it was just showing myself that I could, and not being mad at myself on those days that I couldn't, because, you know, we all have those days. So yeah, that was the interesting thing about fear, and just a lesson I learned around that was that it's okay to embrace it a little bit, but yeah, you need to kind of look at what is driving it and where it's coming from. And I did all that, and then I was able to kind of push it aside and start moving forward. I learned that I hate Instagram. I absolutely hate it. I love YouTube. I love long form videos. I love all of those sorts of things, but I just, I hate Instagram. I don't like being on there. I just don't enjoy it at all. I don't like the extra effort that I seem to have to go to. Like, I did Vlogmas on YouTube, and I recorded a video a day, and I had to edit all of those videos and upload all of those videos. And some of them weren't short. You know, we're talking 20 minutes for some of them. Some were only sort of 7 or 8 minutes, and then, some were longer. But I was able to do that, and I enjoyed it. Doing a reel and putting like an hour's worth of effort into a reel, basically for it to be there for 24 hours, and then, you know, it's obviously there longer, but people aren't seeing it after that period of time. And I just felt like I was yelling into the void. I'm staying there for the time being. You know, there's obviously been an announcement about some other stuff that's going on over there, and I don't like that, but I'm going to hang out for a little bit longer until I can work out what I want to do. Another thing is that the platforms and venues that I was selling my pieces at, I need to look at that. I don't like Etsy. I'm not happy with that. I did have a Shopify store, but because of my health, I had to close it. Then the fear came in, and it was like, what if I reopen it? What if I get sick again and I don't have the money to pay for it? And the issue was I really was unwell, and I wasn't able to make things, so I wasn't able to sell things. I did have pieces in some shops, and that was where my income was coming from. But I just couldn't make extra to keep my shop running as well. So I closed it, and I haven't reopened it yet. And again, that was about fear. So I am working my way through that. And I've learned that, fear can derail me, and it can derail me pretty quickly and pretty easily. So I need to work on that. I also need to look at these platforms and venues and see what I like and what I don't like. I have my pieces in a gallery, but they haven't sold yet. But they're my original pieces and not this new collection that I've been working on. So, where do I go from there? I need to have a look at that. And I learned that just because I love a place, just because I think the place is fantastic, doesn't necessarily mean that it's a good space for my stuff. So, yeah, I think quite a few of us have fallen into that trap before. Like, we love the people that run the shop or whatever it is, and we just think, oh no, it's lovely, I don't want to go anywhere else. I learned that I really don't enjoy markets. I love talking to people, and if it's sort of a one-off, I'm fine. I don't love doing them over and over again, week after week, month after month. I just kind of get drained and I don't enjoy it. The next thing that I learned was that dream customers and ideal customers, they're great, and I really need to know more about them. But there's also this fear of leaving people behind. So I worked out who my ideal customers were, my dream customers, and then I changed the collection and I'm bringing out something new. And then I've got this fear that I am going to leave those current customers behind. Now, I know that there are some people that will love my new pieces and they will buy them. There'll be other people who they just don't appeal to at all. I will gain some new people, and that's great. So it will kind of sort itself out, but I need to look at who is buying, and I need to understand that some people will be left behind. And then there's the pricing that goes along with that. So the newer pieces, some of them will be a lot more expensive than pieces that I had created before. And then I feel guilty. Like, am I pricing people out? And the other thing is that I wanted to try and keep my prices low to cater for those people that I was worried about pricing out. And then I realized that, when you do that, often you're doing it for people that are never likely to purchase from you in the first place. They often don't even want or need what you're offering. So I know that I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of trying to price things to satisfy certain people, and they were never going to buy my stuff anyway. So you know what? If I have to put the prices at a higher level, so be it. That's where my dream customer sits. Another thing about that, and about the economy in general, there was just so much negative talk about the economy and about people not buying. And then I had certain places where I would go and people were still buying, and they were happy to buy my jewellery. So I learned that a lot of the people that love my stuff are self-purchasers. There's the odd few here and there that will buy for somebody else, but a lot of them are purchasing for themselves. And it's about them knowing what they're willing to pay for something, knowing what they like and what they want, and just buying it. So I need to embrace those people, and I need to do more work on this new dream customer, because obviously I've got brand new pieces that are very different to anything I've done before. And I learned that it's okay to want to change direction. For the longest time, I wanted to have a jewellery business that was kind of outside of the box and was something completely different. I had, these ideas of designs that were different to most things out there, and that were fun and bright and bubbly and, kind of like me. And I didn't make that stuff. I made plain, simple silver jewellery. And I love it. I think it's gorgeous, but it was never the real direction I wanted to take. So then I tried lots of different things, and none of them really worked. And I think it's because I was trying to hang on to that silver side of things and kind of integrate this new stuff, and it never fitted with each other. And then I realized, I've learned in the last few months that it's okay to want to change direction. It's okay to look at what you've done in the past and go, I don't want to do that anymore. You know, I learned that I don't like to solder. I don't enjoy it. A little bit here and there is fine, but I don't enjoy making ring after ring after ring. I like hammering, but I also love painting. And I'm like, how can I incorporate the two? And I had a bit of an art business for a while where I sold cards and things like that, but I was always sort of drawn back to my jewellery. And I'm like, but I want to do both. And I think I finally now found that way to do both. So, you know, it's part of this new collection is about changing direction and being okay with it. I think we get caught up in what we think we should be doing, or other people will say to you, oh, but what if? And you get wrapped up in that what if, like, you know, what if it doesn't work? Well, if it doesn't work, I try something else. And then it comes back to fear again. So I was worrying about things, which is not great, because basically worrying is just asking for things that you don't want. So yeah, it's okay. I learned it's okay to change direction. It's okay to want to do that. It's okay to kind of look at what you're doing and go, I don't like it anymore. Like, I've heard stories of people who basically burned their business down so that they could start again doing something different. I think one of the stories I heard was, I think it was Annika from Hey Mavens. Hers is a classic case. And I think she literally threw some of her stuff in a dumpster and set fire to it. Annika has an amazing business. So I will link to her Instagram in the description as well. But it's okay to change direction. I also heard a podcast episode with a jeweler who used to make very specific jewellery with crocheted edges. And she doesn't do that anymore. She has changed so that she crochets pieces and has them cast in silver and gold. So she changed direction, and yeah, she lost some customers along the way. I'm sure that there were people who loved the crocheted pieces, loved the colour in them, and don't love the new pieces. And that's okay. You know, you're not going to be able to take everyone with you, but it is okay to change. It is okay to change direction, and I'm going to embrace that. I'm going to enjoy it. And yeah, I'm not going to be fearful. I'm not going to let fear get me this time. I'm just going to do what I want to do. And you know what? I'm just going to see how it goes. I'm going to see what happens. You know, it could go really well. It could go terribly. It could go like 2024. But yeah, I think that was another really big thing that I learned, that it's okay for you to change what you want to do. It's okay for you to go in a completely different direction. And that's what I'm going to do. I need to have confidence that it's going to work, and I need to just feel really good about what I'm doing and feel really positive about the direction that I'm taking, because the more I feel good about it and the more I am sort of showing enthusiasm and excited about it, the more other people are going to be excited about it too. So, cool. All right. So I don't know if there's anything there that you can take from this, but yeah, they're the lessons I learned. I also learned that it's sort of the times of year when things would normally sell for me have really shifted. I had a lot of issues with, normally I would try and get some stuff out for Mother's Day, but I think it's the last 3 years, I've been unwell in the lead up to Mother's Day. And I think I have got to the point where I'd almost written off Mother's Day because I wasn't able to get things out. I am way more prepared this time around. I know what I'm going to do, and I'm getting things done now, ready for Mother's Day, which is in Australia, it's in May. I've also learned that, you know, even in the lead up to Christmas, I wasn't selling as much as I normally would. My sales were down, and they were down by quite a bit. Some of that was people not buying, sure, but some of it I think was the fact that maybe I just wasn't loving what I was doing, and I'd kind of withdrawn, or maybe people could just sense from me that, you know, this is my stuff and here you go, if you like it, you like it. And and these new pieces, I've just got this new love and respect for what I do, which is great. So yeah, 2025 is going to be just a year where I'm going to have to look at things differently and work out when my best times are to sell, because yeah, it's not necessarily running along the same timeline as it used to. So yeah, okay, well, that's what I learned. That is what I learned from 2024. Yeah, the big ones were about embracing my limitations, which I think has been invaluable, and the fact that it is okay to change direction. It's perfectly fine, and that's what I'm doing. So thanks for joining me. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this look at the lessons that I learned. If you learned some lessons of your own, I would love to hear about them. Please pop them in the comments. If you like this video, please like it, subscribe, do all of those things, because it really helps my channel, and it helps me to sort of find new people and yeah, sort of expand this little community of mine. So, all right, I've got plenty of work I need to do. It's time for me to stop yammering, and yeah, I will see you next time. Mwah. Bye for now.